Hello and welcome to Viegyan podcast. I'm Dr. Vidya, your host, and today I'm thrilled to introduce our guest, Ms.Nari Kaur. Ms. Nari is an exceptional empowerment and leadership coach and a proud graduate of Viegyan Academy's Lifestyle Coach Certification Program. She is also a motivational speaker, the founder and host of Ladies Who Lead podcast, and the creator of many bespoke personal development training. And with over 15 years of experience, she dedicated her career to help people build confidence, set and achieve their goals, and unlock their full potential. Nari's extensive background include leading roles in aerospace, marine, and defense industries, where she gained valuable insight to leadership and human behavior. Ms. Nari Kaur, it's our privilege to have you with us today, and welcome to Vegan Podcast.
Hi, Vidya. Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be here and to support the Vegan Academy going forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's start with our questions.
Amazing. Absolutely.
To share what initially drew you to the field of empowerment and leadership coaching.
Yeah, basically it's been a journey really. So it's been an accumulation, I would say, of both my academic and personal background. So I think something like this really develops over time, both in your mind, your intention, and your purpose. And really having worked in large organizations, being part of a kind of business background from childhood, really shaped me into an individual whereby I was able to see gaps in what was helping people to achieve their goals, essentially what was holding them back, the understanding that empathetic leadership specifically is missing from a lot of our organizations, and those real connections to people. So about how people feel in their journey to develop themselves, set and achieve realistic goals, and the understanding of what makes people happy and therefore productive. So really, I would say that is the link between empowerment and leadership, because leadership is really a person excelling in their own lives in whatever capacity, and really achieving that potential and not putting any barriers or any ceilings in place of becoming the best version that they can be.
Thank you. So you have held significant roles in aerospace, marine, and defense industries. So how did you come to these opportunities, and what do you think that this set you apart in securing such influential positions?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I would say that, well, the foundation would be knowledge, I would say, and that's based on education. So, yeah, I invested a lot of my time in educating myself from university onto postgraduate, onto professional qualifications in various fields. So that knowledge based on historic theory and also current findings, keeping up to date with what the current research and what we're finding out day to day, because obviously that's evolving, and really looking at learning from a perspective of you never know enough. And learning is a lifelong journey. I was born and raised in the UK. Without being biased, I would say the UK is renowned for having one of the best education systems in the world. So having a great head start for building your foundation is, really helps to build that fruitful and successful career. And that's what took me into those positions. However, having access to education alone is obviously doesn't necessarily mean that you will be successful or that it's enough. It then comes down to your personal values that you follow as a person and your own character. So some values that have been instilled into me from a very young age, and they often come from observing our parents. I come from a very hard-working family. My parents are entrepreneurs. They've built successful businesses in their own right. In the UK, having migrated from other countries, and So these sort of attributes, I would say, are things like independence, consistency, discipline, reliability, and also using your own initiative. And secondly, and lastly, sorry, just sheer determination and hard work. I would say that if you have those skills, those virtues, those values, there's really nothing stopping you, because even if you do have setbacks in your life, which naturally we all do, you will revert back to type. So you will revert back to your natural personality and persevere. So having those values are absolutely essential, and what have led me into those industries, and obviously working in those industries, developing myself, going from like one industry to another, maintaining those values has also helped me to make some great connections, and obviously have a fruitful career to date. So that's what it's been part of. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you're saying that the knowledge is the key.
Knowledge is key. Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to go out there, you have to use your own like effort and initiative to learn, to invest in yourself, to spend that time learning. And then you've got to pursue that with, you've not got to just think, well, I've got this qualification now, so I know everything. Not at all. You've got to then continually learn, continually keep on top of the learning that you already know, and pursue that.
Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
a diverse industrial experience, right?
Absolutely. And sometimes I joke with my like friends and colleagues that I've actually got experience in all the main transport industry, main modes of transport. So aerospace, marine, rail. So all the ways of transporting people and objects from one place to another. Yeah.
I think you are very excited saying those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've really enjoyed
Yeah.
the time that I've had
So
and
it's
the
our
opportunity.
privilege to have you here. We are also proud of you.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Thank you.
So, how important do you think confidence and mindset are for achieving career success?
I would say it's absolutely essential. And it is actually the most important thing, because there's one thing being noticed and standing out because you've got a great CV. But once you get through the door, and then it's all about your confidence and the way that you think. So once you get into a place that's full of opportunities, like a lot of large corporate organizations, there's lots of people who can connect you with other people, and you can really develop your career like that. But it's your confidence and the mindset that gets you kind of to the top, or gets you opportunities that you seek, so that you are happy and fulfilled in terms of what you want from your career. It gets you noticed by the correct people. The right opportunities, like I said, often come through recommendation from people who have already experienced and seen your work ethic and your output. So I say that, like I say that often in my coaching practice to my clients, confidence is the difference between you and your potential. So self-belief is kind of what you think, who you think you are, and what you think you can achieve, and that determines how far you will go. So it's all about how you perceive yourself, and in the past, people have been known to think, oh well, that's selfish, or that's like having an ego, or being just like, it's not really authentic. But actually it's hugely authentic in the way that if you believe that you can do something and you can have something, you absolutely can. It all comes from your self-belief. So the way you perceive yourself is the way you then project yourself in the outside world, and then that's how other people perceive you, which directly affects your progression and your opportunities.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
want to know what made you to pursue the course, namely the certificate program in lifestyle coaching from Viegyan Academy, and how has it made a difference in your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So initially, that it was based on recommendation from a trusted colleague working in the wellness industry is how I came about Vegan Academy. But obviously, I never really embark on or invest on in anything unless I've done my own research, and I believe that it's a good avenue to embark on. So when I did my own research, I was inspired by the amount of research backed evidence that was taught, and the fact that everything a lot of it was based on science, proven theories in psychology and biology alike. And I absolutely thought that it was this perfect combination of mindset work, physiology, biology, and business skills, all of which are absolutely necessary to run a successful lifestyle coaching business. And I was really inspired by the fact that it's all rounded. It's authentic in the way, and so in the sense that it's really been well thought out in the way that it is actually from the student's perspective and the future prospective client's perspective in terms of what they need. And it covers all avenues such as lifestyle coaching principles to the actual coaching process itself, going through like the entire journey that you would typically experience with a client in terms of the full life cycle. So I really was inspired by the fact that the understanding of that we are working with people's thoughts and their emotions, which is a huge part of people's progress in terms of how they feel. But I was particularly inspired also by the fact that it covers business skills needed to start up a successful coaching business. From my experience, obviously, I've been coaching for a number of years now. I can tell you that it's not just about learning the content and about it's also about creating and managing a client base, and running that professionally, marketing yourself, creating a niche, branding yourself. And that's really important part of the being a lifestyle coach in order to get access to the correct people who actually need you and can benefit from you. But last and not least, what's benefited me and really why I was so inspired by it is the fact that it's like I said, based. It's taught by medical professionals, doctors, nutritionalists, therapists, fitness professionals, experts in their own fields. So I've seen in my own research previously, I've seen many gimmick courses out there taught by people who are simply reiterating other people's work with no formal educational background to back up their knowledge from experience. But with this course, these are professional qualified doctors, for example, who are teaching you the real medical science based on evidence, science-backed theories. And that really inspired me because I really felt like, how often are you going to be able to sit in front of a doctor and they can teach you the knowledge that they know, that they've learned, that they've practiced, and they're using within their own fields. And that was amazing. And actually being on the seminars and speaking to these professionals, it's absolutely evident that these people know what they're talking about. So that's really the reason for me.
Yeah, we are giving the authentic and the most updated version.
Yeah, exactly. New things that have come to light, and new evidence, recent research, and the fact that the education is continuous. There's constantly seminars and workshops whereby we're being updated on different areas of expertise. Yeah, it's and this is for the lifestyle coach themselves, for them to be able to then link this with their clients' needs is just amazing, really good. And also there's a lot on psychology as well, because obviously, like I said earlier, just learning the science and applying that, teaching that to your students, it's not enough, because a lot of the times people are stuck in certain places because of habitual patterns. So really getting into the psychology of why people are stuck, or where they're stuck, and what they need in order to move out of those comfort zones, in order to help themselves through the guidance of the lifestyle coach to progress and move forwards.
Yeah, it is that when we consider the disease, we should consider the mind also. So the psychology plays an important role.
Yeah, Absolutely. It's essential. It's it's just as important. The difference being, when we talk about like standout moments from the Vegan Academy as well, learning something for the first time is great, and a person could be inspired, they could be motivated, but then to stay consistent and stay disciplined on the change that they're trying to make, that all comes from psychology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So tell me about your present journey, whether you are focusing on one-to-one coaching or group coaching.
Yeah. I've done a lot of one-to-one coaching in the past, and a lot of my coaching has come from recommendation, and I'm still doing that. Actively practicing one-to-one coaching as much as time dictates. But over the years, I've also developed sort of group coaching, doing workshops, doing online classes, and I find that that's really powerful as well. Sometimes I find that having workshops with too many people is not productive, because people sometimes who want to ask questions don't, because it can kind of be occupied by maybe a couple of people. So I like to have small to medium-sized groups. So I would say from 5 to 10 people, where people can really get the benefit from the questions and the content. Predominantly, my work is on, I do a lot of mindset work through research on psychology, but with vegans academies approach and their learning that I have from there, I'm approaching empowerment through science as well, using the medical field also. So I'm bringing in biology about the human body, how this is then linked to the psychology, what we were talking about earlier, about the mind body connection, and how it's basically all interconnected. And so really I'm doing a lot of both, basically. I'm also attending conferences and doing talks that wherever I get the opportunity, like wherever I feel is credible, and growing my practice that way as well. So I'm really enjoying both aspects. I get a lot from the one-to-one, because you can really see the progress of an individual from where they started to where they are now, and really feel the value in the benefit that they're getting from the coaching. But also in the group coaching, I find that people might learn from each other as well as you, and then they may approach you for one-to-one coaching because they've had access to you in a maybe a more affordable format, like a group coaching workshop.
Okay, thank you. Can you share us a particular memorable coaching success story that highlighted the impact of your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So for this one, I would really say that there's two elements of this. And this is the work that I've done with young people under 25 and older people, say over 55, 60, so more mature people. Obviously, I've got a lot of success stories in between that age group, but in terms of standout moments, I would say those two, as in that really stand out to me personally. And the reason being is when I am able to coach people from, say, the age of 18 to 25, often these people have come to me themselves, but sometimes they have been inspired or by their parents to say, you need to go and see a coach, this would really help you, and they're unsure of who they are, what they want, but they just know that they're not going in the right direction. So to be able to capture somebody at that young age and to make a difference to the rest, to then the majority of their adult life, is so beautiful for me. Because when I leave someone at the age of, say, 25, and I've worked with them some say 22 or 23, I know that they're going to go away and they're going to do some great things in their adult life. So it almost feels like they could have had two avenues, and by having access to me at that very early, young, tender age, they have now taken the correct route, whereas they were on the way to a lot of self-sabotage and destructive path, but it feels to me like I've made a difference in their life. And that's so inspiring for me. And often I've heard back from them a year, 2 years later from their parents telling me that they're getting on really well, they're doing great things. And that makes me so happy, because part of my work is, it has to come from my feeling, it has to come from my heart that I'm doing this because I want to actually help people, not just because it's a tick box or because of financial gain. So that makes me feel great. So it gives them perspective. I can do this. It's in my ability, and that is powerful. I believe in myself. To instill that view in a young person is brilliant. And then older people, like I said, later on, 60s, 70s, whereby they may have already done things that they're not happy about, they may be regretful of, they may be wishing that their paths were different. They have a lot of I should have, would have, could have attitude, mentality. But when I work with these people and I let we work together and we really work with their mindset and their body, like in terms of their biology, to change things in their lives, whereby they then get re-inspired. They somehow re-energize. They get their motivation back again, and then they feel like, oh, actually, I do have the rest of my life. Whatever's happened, and I still can. So you see the difference from a young person who says, I can, and an older person who says, I still can. It's not too late. So again, to be able to experience that with a client for me is a real standout moment, whereby I feel like they can live the rest of their lives, like I said, feeling re-energized, having a new lease for life and having that happiness again, whereby they may have lived 10 or 15 years or more distraught or sabotaging themselves, in poor health, unhappy. And to really see the progress in these two age groups for me is really a standout moment.
Yeah, it's greatly inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, on your Ladies Who Lead podcast, so I'm happy that you are the host of a podcast and it's Ladies Who Lead.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
what core message, like an advice, do you hope to pass on to your audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Ladies Who Lead podcast was started a couple of years ago, I think at the end of COVID, actually. And it was inspired by myself and another lady who was, she was more experienced than me, so I learned a lot from her. And we worked together, and eventually we went our own separate ways. And I've continued the podcast. And if you watch it, it's on YouTube on all the major podcast channels like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and it's inspired, or it has the inspiration of interviews from women all over the world, women of influence, powerful, innovative women in the coaching space that make helping people and lifting others their life's purpose. So it's simply beautiful. It helps women to be leaders in their own lives, to stand outside the box in their own power, to build a personal brand, to break away from societal norms and expectations, and really live the life of their choice. So that's what the journey of Ladies Who Lead has been, from start to current. And really, that's the message that I'm trying to get out there. But it's coming from people like exactly like Vegan Academy. And in the future, I'd love to interview people from there as well. It's coming from essentially women and men, or we do have like one or two men who have supported the initiative, that this is my area of expertise, and this is what I can add to create an all-rounded experience of empowerment and inspiration for people, knowledge for people to learn from. So what I find really good about podcasts is that, like, within half an hour, 45 minutes, you can actually draw quite a lot of knowledge and get a lot of out there. And it's generally just a conversation, picking people's brains for information that can help the wider audience. So that's really the message. The message is about empowerment, about independence, about achieving and setting and achieving goals, and about really people achieving their the potential, to having the confidence to achieve the potential, to breaking the barriers of the things that are holding them back, really empowering themselves to be themselves and to live authentic lives.
Great. The name itself is so motivating. Ladies who lead.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, because we're so used to like being in the notion that it's a man's world, although that's breaking down quite a lot nowadays, because we see women in all walks of life in positions of responsibility and leadership, and really women are doing a lot of standout things, and the equality is very much is there in many different parts of the world. So it's really inspiring. So this is really to help the women to continue on that journey, to really go for the things that they want to go for, and to really believe that they can have, you know, every aspect of their life fulfilled, not just, you know, any specific thing that they may be limiting themselves to.
So, dear viewers, kindly subscribe to the podcast, The Ladies Who Lead. You won't regret because she is such an amazing personality. So, kindly subscribe. So, going to the next question. What common challenges do people face with self esteem? And how do you help them to overcome these issues?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the common challenges that people face, it all comes down to people not believing in themselves and not feeling that they're good enough. Like when they really focus inwards, and like you know, if they're meditating or really just really going down to the simplicity of who they are, what they think they, you know, how they think of themselves, how they perceive themselves. It's really often people feeling like they're not good enough. So even if women and men, even if people are excelling, this then affects them like by the means of something called imposter syndrome, where they feel like, oh, I actually don't deserve this, or this is too much for me. So it's often self-imposed limits that people have put on themselves, not believing that they deserve their own success. And this comes from mental blocks or ceilings that they have in their own, like mental ceilings that they have in their own minds of what they believe they can achieve. This is really what affects people's mindsets in terms of their self-esteem and confidence. This comes from really embedded belief pattern. So what I do is I really help people to get to the core, to the root cause of where these limits are coming from. And I support people with reprogramming of their subconscious minds, restructuring those core level beliefs, which then affect everything else in their lives. And often people are, and you know, people are often, due to low self-esteem, stuck in habits that lead to patterns, and then people make them that their comfort zones, and they just keep on reliving those things. So really to help them break the mental blocks through, like I said, root cause analysis and restructuring helps them to break habits and then patterns. So it's reconditioning the subconscious patterns. That's essentially how I help them. And then it's about, once they're on that journey of change and transformation, the transformation then comes is by building the blocks through the knowledge, through the continuous reinforcement, the guidance, the coaching, to then support them, which over time, if somebody is committed to their own personal development, they can really support their own self-esteem by growing it and their confidence, and really change who they are and then what they can attract.
Okay,
And who
thank
they
you. Okay, every individual is different, right?
yeah.
So, how do you tailor your personal development training to meet the needs of different individuals or organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. And this really comes from getting to know the individual, because every individual has different problems coming from a different place, right? So, and also we all have our own mental filters, which is in NLP, we teach about the filters of how a mind perceives something. So you can be in a room or in a setting with a group of people, and everybody can walk away with a different perspective of what actually happened, right? So what I do again is work in that with the deeper sense of like where a person's coming from, their own filtration process in their own minds, how they're perceiving things, and working from that root. So that all comes from a person's belief. So you have to get to know the specific client. This is why my coaching practice methods are tailored to each individual or each organization separately, individually. It's not a one size fits all at all. So there is a discovery phase with an individual or with an organization where I'm getting to know the problem, the outcome, what's wrong, what needs fixing, then to go to the beginning of why it went wrong, and then filling in the gap in between.
Okay, in what ways Vegan Academy's approach to coaching influenced your own method and practices?
So basically, like I said before, what I've been able to do is I've been able to use vegans research and implement that within my own coaching, put in more science-based research. Um, I've been able to use teachings and approaches from Vegan Academy and implement them into my coaching methods. So things like transformation quadrant, identifying coaching as a means to a specific route to achieving goals, using neuroscience, a brain-based approach, how all our neurons are interconnected, and how that causes patterns, like I said, specifically and individually for people. Using things like the thought cycle, how our thoughts lead to actions, leading to habits, leading to behavior, and then character. So these are some of the approaches I'm talking about. 7-step person in coaching, 7-step pattern in coaching, how to work with a client from beginning to the end. So all of these are approaches that like I've had access to through the Vegan Academy, which are neuroscience, psychological techniques that I have brought into my coaching methods, looking at the power of habits. So really all of this has taught me that self-awareness is key, not only for the client, but also for the lifestyle coach, as in what is my current knowledge, what can I bring from the Vegan Academy and implement that into my own coaching practice, and using a lot of these sorts of tools and techniques, and obviously using all the stuff that we've learned in the medical field, in the medical, like things about your brain, neuroscience, your heart, how the heart functions, vitamins, supplements, learning about different conditions like cardiovascular, diabetes, common things that people experience, that people get, stress-related diseases as well. A lot of these diseases are related to stress, learning about the factors of stress, what causes stress, how to eliminate stress, wellness, mindset work, mindfulness. All of these things come in to the teachings, things that I've already been working on over the last few years, but have actually been supplemented through the work that I've learned through vegan, and specifically the medical stuff that I've learned from vegan has really helped me in my own coaching practice, my own personal development, and then for me to be able to bring that into my own methods and what I teach.
As you said, the 7 step is very important in coaching, and we have included that in our curriculum.
Yes,
I think it's
absolutely.
very useful for the coaches, right?
Yeah. So a lot of the theory that's taught is not just about what we teach the clients. It's not just about what the client, it's also about how to teach the client. It's not just about relaying information that we've learned to the client. It's in a presentation. It's about going through each stage of working with the client to make sure that they achieve progress and have transformation. So that it's realistic from the client's perspective, and it's the full lifestyle, from beginning to end of the coaching method. So it's done in a professional way. And this, I think, is what's missing from a lot of other coaching um, teachings,
Mm.
institutes, academies, is about how to teach the client. So really going into detail about that as well. So it really helps existing coaches and new coaches, specifically like myself, an existing coach, to rethink how we are coaching people. What is the latest method? What is a good method, a professional method of teaching clients, whereby the client can get the most out of coaching with a particular lifestyle coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are glad that you benefited from our course. And what advice do you give someone thinking about pursuing a lifestyle coach certification at Vegan Academy?
Yeah, good question. So basically, I would just say, essentially, it's worth the investment initially. So but when somebody goes to embark on a course or to learn something, they have to invest. They have to invest. Obviously, there's a cost, but more so the time, effort that it takes to actually be successful and achieve a certification in anything. And these days, people are busy, nobody wants to invest their time in something to then think, oh, that wasn't really that good. I didn't really enjoy that. Didn't get really much out of it. Whereas within the Vegan Academy, I would say, for the reasons I mentioned above before, that it's a really thought out, all-rounded course. It will fulfill your needs in more ways than you can imagine. It will help you to be a good coach. It will help you to connect to clients in the right way. It will help you to brand yourself, find your niche, connect with clients, prospective clients. It will even help you find clients in the end. It will teach you all of the things that you need from the perspective of lifestyle coaching, and you will walk away with so much more knowledge than you could have anticipated. So I would say that do your research. Wherever you're making your investment, it has to be the right place. But from my perspective, I have absolutely no regrets of working with the Vegan Academy. It's given me access to some great inspirational people working in various areas of expertise, like I said, in the medical field, in the fitness field, nutritional fields. It's really inspirational, the stuff that you learn, and the learning is consistent, and it's ongoing. You're not just taught something and left. You're not just given a course that's online to self-teach. There is accountability, because there's continuous workshops, there's assessments throughout the whole thing, whereby you're checking your learning. You can reassess. It's not like, oh, I passed or I failed. You reassess until you get it. Like I said, the accountability is there. So you walk away successful. They make sure that you achieve, as long as you put in the effort, obviously yourself, you want to learn. All the knowledge and all the support is there through the content and the people teaching this course.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Here's my last question. So, what is your advice to anyone who is aspiring to enter into the field of coaching?
Yeah, that I would say that I would recommend it, because it not only helps you to help other people, it also helps you. So really, depending on the type of person, coaching is for a particular type of person. It's for a type of person where you want to make part of your purpose to help other people. If helping other people makes you happy, to leave people better than you found them. So if you've got that empathetic bone in your body, whereby you love to support others, and there's a great reward from that as well. Like they say, success is not necessarily what you achieve in your life, it's what you help other people achieve. And that's where the real reward, I would say, comes from, to be able to leave people better than you found them, and I know that's cliche, but really walking away or going to sleep at night, knowing that you left a smile on somebody's face, knowing that you changed or helped them with a mental block that they had, knowing that they're going to do something different as a result of working with you. So if you have any of this within you, any of this motivation, I would definitely say that coaching is a great way to build your own character, your own brand, because that's what it essentially does without you even realizing it does that. If you want to connect with amazing people all around the world, because the world is a very small place now, because you get access to so many different people find people, and it just happens that this elevates your own vibration, and that connects you to people in different walks of life from different expertise, and it really helps you grow, and it helps you to look at the world from a different set of eyes, different perspective. Like I said, your knowledge is inevitable that it will grow. You become a better person as a result of it, and all the work that you do with others is just an amazing and a great feeling. I would say that you have to put the effort. There's a lot of work that goes into the foundation of being a successful coach. It's not an easy ride, but if you're willing to do that, it's a fruitful career, and it's unlimited in terms of what you can do. It's never ending. It's a lifelong career. It's a very empowering career choice as well.
Thank you so much for joining us on Viegyan podcast. So a special thanks to our incredible guest, Ms.Nari, for sharing her insight and experience with us. And to our listeners, we hope you have found today's episode as enlightening and motivating as we have. So don't forget to subscribe to Viegyan Podcast for more conversations with thoughts, leaders, and experts in this field. Until next time, stay tuned and embark on a journey towards a healthier, happier you with Viegyan Podcast. Thank you very much.